You know her. You love her. She is the hot girl, smart girl, talented singer-songwriter genius that you've always aspired to be. Her taste in books is almost as good as her taste in bandmates. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, gays and theys, Lucy Dacus. What's great about Lucy? Apart from like all the other things that are great about Lucy, she has a Goodreads account, so it's very easy for me to go on there and stalk her reading habits. So I picked 4 books. Let's talk about them a little bit. We have Letters to a Young Poet. I've never read any Rilke. We're going to amend this. This is a tiny little adorable penguin classic. Isn't it just the cutest little thing? I expect that this will probably be great. We have Flights by Olga Tokarczuk, who is Polish. I have not yet read a book from Poland, so 2 birds. She's a bit thick, but we love her anyway. And this seems very interesting and conceptual and big brain, and like I might need my thinking cap on for this one. We'll see how we go. And then the other 2 are audiobooks. Gathering Moss by Robin Kimmerer. I haven't read any Robin Kimmerer, but I've heard excellent things, and I'm very excited to listen to an audiobook about moss. Sounds amazing. I'm stoked. And then we also have Stay and Fight by Madeline Fitch. I don't know a lot about this book. I think it's maybe set in Ohio or Idaho, one of those, and it's gay a bit. I don't know. I'll let you know more about it when we figure it out. So those are the books that I have picked, but these 4 I'm very excited to read, all for different reasons. But they all sound really cool and like probably my thing. We'll see.
You got yourself a bunch of bad habits. Not hard to see that love is a weakness. Seems to me the way you understand it is that you're never gonna make it happen. I get smoke in my eyes every time I try to look you in the eye. And do I even know what your face looks like? Or just the cloud of smoke in its place? I'm trying to tell.
Okay, hi. I'm about halfway through Stay and Fight by Madeline Fitch. I am like, you know when you're so into an audiobook that you like stop doing anything and just stare into the distance for hours at a time without noticing that time is passing. Yeah, that's happening to me right now. It's so good. It's about there's this woman who acquires some land with her boyfriend because they're gonna like, you know, become cool and sustainable and whatever. The boyfriend ditches, the woman stays and allows 2 lesbians and their son to move onto her land, and they become this like weird family situation. And this kid, obviously, he's basically growing up. They don't really have a house. They built it themselves. It's full of snakes. So this kid has some issues. There's a lot that's going down. I'm about pretty much exactly halfway through. I've also started Flights on page 123. If you enjoy plot, narrative, and characters in your story, you probably won't enjoy this. It's very weird. I will let you know more when I know more, but basically we're not following any kind of linear narrative, at least not that I can determine. It's good. I'm kind of reading it like poetry in that I'm not trying to understand. I'm just kind of plowing through and appreciating the pretty words, even if I don't really comprehend what is occurring.
There's a book, I'll think of a smaller one. It's called Flights by Olga Tokarczuk. She's Polish, and it came out recently, and it's about travel and not about destinations. It's like always in transit. So I resonate with it a lot because I'm always traveling, and it's like the perfect book to read if you are in the midst of traveling. I love it.
Was really no problem, because me and Altamonte, our brains were superior. We were digging a portal to the elf world, which, who could do that but a boy genius or 2?
Have I just discovered the boy genius name origin story? I don't know, probably not. Yeah, 10 hours and 45 minutes in. I don't know how this is gonna resolve itself in the 2 hours that are left, because there's a whole lot going on.
Daytime.
Hello, I'm about push to 90% finished with Stay and Fight. I'm a bit concerned about how it's gonna end. I want it to end in a way that everyone lives happily ever after. I don't know if this is that kind of book, and I'm scared. I have finally found a video game that I can play while listening to an audiobook. I tried EU4, that requires too much brain power. The Sims requires too much brain power. Team Fortress 2, I need to be able to hear when I'm getting stabbed by a spy. Stardew Valley, I think, is where it's at for audiobook video game combo. So for the next hour or so, what we're gonna listen to the rest of this audiobook. I may cry. I'm quite invested. And then I'm probably gonna try and finish Flights today as well. It's a very rainy autumn day. I'm not doing a whole lot else. I was gonna maybe go for a run, but as you can see, I am applying Sports Ice Gel to my shins. I got shin splints, and I'm training for a half marathon. And I'm trying to really find the balance between not injuring myself, but also training enough so that I don't like die when I do the half marathon. So today might be a rest day instead of a 6K day or whatever it was supposed to be. I smell like eucalyptus. Anyway, yes, so we're gonna finish Stay and Fight. I am terrified. It's a very good book. I'm very invested. I'm very invested.
You told me to skip school to go with you to the movies. You knew you were uncool, but you thought you could fool me. They play oldies in the afternoon for the elderly, and me and you, Fred and Ginger, black and white. I watch you watch, it's a wonderful life.
Hello, I finished Stay and Fight by Madeline Fitch. This book is so close to 5 stars, you have no idea. It just left some stuff unresolved, some questions unanswered, and my little brain needs a satisfying ending to a book where I know everything that happens and there's no room for nuance or inferences. That's just me though. If in a few days I'm still like thinking about it and it's in my brain, then I may bump it up to 5, but at the moment it's 4, but a very, very strong 4. Like, you should read this book, please, thank you. Oh, I just really cared about everyone. Like, there's this guy who's not even a particularly likable character, and he nearly died, and I thought he was dead, and I, like, nearly cried. Oh my goodness. Kids, man. Like, there was a lot of stressful stuff happening in this book. It was multiple POV, and when we got the kids' perspective, I was like, yes, thank you. The optimism of children will keep me sane. It was so good. It was so good. We're also still reading Flights. It's weird. I'm basically it's kind of poetry. It's like long form. I mean, it's not in verse or anything, but it's a bit weird. It's a bit confusing. Not super sure what I'm supposed to be feeling, but I'm not hating it. They're like, it's interesting. It's just not at all cohesive in any kind of narrative way. Anyway, I need to cook dinner, so I'm gonna start the other audiobook, Gathering Moss. It's a very appropriate day to be reading this book because it is a very moist environment out in the world. Perfect for mosses to thrive. Yeah, it is autumn here. It is steadily getting colder and darker, and I am steadily getting sadder about it. But we're gonna try and ward off seasonal, what's it called? Seasonal affective disorder? I'm gonna try and ward it off by listening to cozy books and making rice paper rolls and having a generally good cozy time. It's so pretty outside. I kind of want to run. I love running in the rain. It's like my favorite thing. But again, shin splints. I just don't want a stress fracture. That would be really stupid. I feel like I'm smart enough to know when to stop, you know? Like, the pain is not that bad, but also if I keep running with it, it's gonna get worse. What a dilemma. If you're a physiotherapist, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Some mail. We have this helicopter from it's from somewhere in Germany. but I can't place it. It's a cool helicopter. And there's these like cool stamps on the back too. Then we have this one from Taipei. I love a good handmade card. Like, look at this. Is this not the most wholesome thing you've ever seen? What is Taipei 101? Hello from Taiwan, my name is Peggy. This postcard is about the Taipei 101. Oh, it's a building. It's a very cool looking building. It looks hideously tall. My goodness. Anyway, handmade cards are maybe my favorite. I might send some postcards later today as well. Alright, I'm gonna send 7, I think, postcards today. I have this box. These are ones that I've received, and these are all blank ones to send. So I'm gonna go through these and pick out some for the lovely folks whose addresses I've been given. Alright, I've just spent like an hour or two writing postcards. Let me show you what we got. We have this bridge going to Wilhelm in Germany. This is going to Nadia in Indonesia. This one's going to Monica in Lithuania. This one's going to Lou in China. This one's going to Peter in Tucson, Arizona. This one's going to Utah in Germany. And Flinders Street Station is going to Esther in Hungary. So that's very exciting. Australia Post have issued these cool dinosaur stamps as well, so they're quite exciting to be sending out. So that's what I've been doing. I have not been reading. I'll get back to reading. Hi, it's an amount of time later. I have finished Flights, and I have finished Gathering Moss. I will talk about both of those, all the books, in a sec, but I still have to read some Rilke. Letters to a Young Poet. I don't imagine this will take very long. It's like 50 pages. So we'll read this and then I'll talk to you about all the books, do a little summary. But I'm very excited for Letters to a Young Poet, so that's what we're gonna do now.
Put salt in the wound and a kiss on my cheek. You butter me up and you sit down to eat. You add insult to injury. You say you believe in me.
Hello, I finished all the books. I have a friend. The dog's a bit stressed, so he's hanging out with me. Everyone else has left the house and he's a bit codependent. Alright, so let's go through everything and I'll tell you what I thought. I just finished Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Rilke. It was alright, it was good. It didn't revolutionize my life, but most books don't, so I guess that's okay. It's a nice short read if you're a creative individual and you're a little bit stuck, just in general. Some pretty words. I might reread it with a highlighter and annotate a little bit, maybe. I gave this 4 stars, I think. Gathering Moss, Robert Mulkimera. Excellent, just a book about moss. Some like cool, interesting stuff told in a very like accessible way. I listened to the audiobook. I would recommend the audiobook, it was good. Yeah, a very peaceful, wholesome time. If you need to relax, throw on an audiobook about moss and that'll really help you to just unwind a little. Although like books about the natural world always stress me out because I'm like, we are destroying everything. So that one got 4 stars as well. Then we have Flights. I don't know what to tell you guys, like this was less of a novel and more of an experience. Lots of people on Goodreads absolutely hated this and I completely understand why. I didn't hate it because it had some interesting stuff. I had very little understanding of what was happening. There's some cool maps and stuff in here that are nice to look at. Let me read the back because I don't know how to describe any of this. Flights is a mesmerizing novel in the form of a series of meditations on travel. Olga Tokarczuk, perhaps the most brilliant Polish author of her generation, connects the idea of travel with spellbinding tales about anatomy, about life and death, about the very nature of humankind. There's a lot about body parts in Jaws, so if you're into that, maybe give this a go. I don't know how I feel about like recommending this to people because it's just so different, you know? Anyway, so that was Flights. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't the worst. And then I think my favorite book that I read for this video, Stay and Fight by Madeline Fitch. It's about family in the wilderness and dealing with living in the wilderness in a society that doesn't really do that. Extremely excellent characters, lots of very interesting conversations, not a lot of answers to the interesting conversations, which I know is the point of a conversation. You like exchange ideas and no one necessarily has to come to a grand conclusion, but I do love a good grand conclusion. So very compelling story, very wholesome child. It was a good time. I enjoyed it a lot. So those are the books. What do I think overall of Lucy's literary taste? I think it's quite good. On Goodreads, we're very compatible. You can like compare ratings and books with people. We're very compatible. So I may, stalk some more of her 5-star reads and suss them out, see what the vibe is, see what we think. But that is that. Thank you very much for watching. The record comes out in 2 days. I am excited. I'm like a little scared. I don't know why. I think it's because they're gonna be like super famous, like really famous after this. And I just want my boys to myself, which is a little, I know. I should set them forth into the world and allow them to blossom into the gay little musicians that they are. Anyway, join us next time where we read Julie Baker's favorite books and have an all-around good time. This is my dog.